Hey everybody, it's Katie with Fox Yoga again. Today we're going to do some chair yoga, and I am going to do different segments. This first segment is all in the chair. So if you know you're feeling unstable or maybe getting up on your feet isn't an option in this exact moment, you can do some yoga from the chair. So I suggest grabbing a kitchen chair or a sturdy chair that doesn't have wheels on the bottom. So a desk chair is fine, but not one that's going to roll around. So I always like to start my class. We're gonna sit back in the chair as far back as we feel comfortable and then let ourselves relax. So we're letting the tension come out of that lower back, letting the chair hold us up, hands on the knees, palms up or palms down. As we give 3 breaths, so we're taking that breath in and exhale. Long and slow. Again, deep breath in. Exhale. Remembering you can use your nose or your mouth as you exhale. Breathe in. Maybe this time I just use my nose. After those 3 breaths, give yourself that mental check-in. Does my neck feel okay? Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, feet? Is there any area that maybe you really need to be mindful of as we go through some of these postures? So if you're ready and you've acknowledged where you need a little protection, I say wrap it with that imaginary gauze or ace bandage just to keep that awareness to it. Doesn't mean that movement's bad, it just means we want to make sure we don't ever move too fast. So let's sit up a little bit from the back of the chair. So now we're having to use those stomach and those lower back muscles to engage. As we lift up, we're gonna put one hand on the stomach. As we move with our breath, we inhale. That belly starts to expand. As we exhale, it tightens back up. So just touching in. Let's go 3 more times. Breathing in and out, trying to resist the urge to breathe here. Right? We want to let the stomach draw out and exhale. And it's okay if you're not getting it this first time. It does take a little bit of practice. Think of babies, how they breathe. They don't shrug, right? They below that belly comes out and in. That's how we use those correct muscles. So now, drawing in that breath, holding it about halfway. Let's bring our arms up, elbows facing towards the front. We're gonna rotate opposite knee to opposite elbow. So we're gonna lift the left knee, rotate a little, right elbow to the left knee, take it down and switch. Notice I'm staying tall. I'm not crunching down. I'm just giving a tiny rotation and I'm keeping those abs nice and tight. Some of you, if it's been a little bit, you feel nice and warmed up and you wanna crunch into it, you can crunch down and maybe even touch that opposite knee with that opposite elbow. So again, listen to your body, listen to any feedback that it's giving you. Let's get one more on each side. Left, right, bring those feet down. Let's keep those arms up. Elbows about shoulder height. We're gonna squeeze those arms together and draw them out, squeeze the shoulder blades. So we're stretching the chest, squeezing the chest. Stretch that chest open and squeeze. Let's give about 5 more. Maybe we exhale. Inhale as we open. Or maybe you're breathing at a different location. As always, it doesn't matter where you breathe in and breathe out when you first start, as long as you're breathing. Let's this be our last one. And open, stretch that chest. Maybe reach those fingertips out. And let's bring our hands to the tops of the shoulders. Elbows are still out. We're gonna make some circles. So take those elbows, draw circles any direction you want. From the back to the front. Your range of motion might be different than mine. That's okay. Again, we're sitting up tall. If you've noticed you started to slouch, sit your body up. Let's give one more in this direction. Coming forward, take those elbows now back. Same motion, it's just now we're going backwards instead of forwards. Slow, match my movement with the speed or go even slower. We don't want to go too fast. We might have rotator cuff issues that we need to just be mindful of. Let's give one more. And bring those arms down to the knees. Kind of roll, shake it out, waddle a little in the hips is what I call it. And then let's take your left hand and reach those left fingertips straight up to the sky. So stretching on that left side body, and then maybe just a little bend, just a little bit more. If your shoulder doesn't like that arm up the whole way, you can keep that elbow bent, still stretching, lengthening here, here, or here. Let's give 2 more breaths. Now, as we transition, let's bring our right arm up to meet the left. Inhale, reach up, and then let's switch. Let's take that left hand to the top of the knee, right arm's reaching up. Maybe we give a little side bend here. Maybe we're happy here again, or we can keep that elbow bent and try to get a stretch still on that right side body. So in yoga, you're in charge. It's about the only thing we're in charge of, right? You get to decide how deep do I go into that bend, how shallow do I keep it. On your next inhale, reaching both arms up. Let's exhale, hands coming to heart center. These are what we call prayer hands. Once our hands come to heart center, let's close our eyes. Maybe even bring those lips towards the fingertips. We can take a couple of breaths here. Notice any tension in the shoulders, lower back. When we close our eyes, we take out those physical distractions so we can touch base and decide what the body's feeling today. Let's give 1 more breath here. And exhale, releasing our hands down to the knees. Good. Let's take that right ear and let it dip towards the right shoulder. I didn't lift my right shoulder up. I'm keeping both shoulders nice and easy, stretching on the left side of the neck. If I want to take it even deeper, I'm going to reach that left hand down and grab the leg of the chair so that I can depress that shoulder just a little bit if that feels right, or keeping both hands on the knee. Let's give 2 more breaths here. Let's slowly lift our head up and take our time, right ear to right shoulder. You might notice one side is a little easier than the other. We have that option to reach down with your right hand, grab the leg of the chair to depress that right shoulder if we want to, or keep that hand on the thigh. Doesn't have to be a lot of range of motion. It's whatever feels comfortable for you. Lifting our head up. Let's just turn our head from the right to the left. So gentle turn, center, to the left. Not forcing it. Let's go 1 more time on each side, just through and through. Ending with our face forward again. So getting a little bit more stretches in the hip. We're gonna do, again, everything from the chair today. So let's start with warrior poses in our chair. We're gonna take your right leg and reach it out to the side of the chair. Now, I'm gonna place my hand in the middle of my chair so you can see, since it is black and I'm wearing black pants. We're gonna scoot just a little bit so that we're lining that middle leg in the middle of the chair. That right leg, you're gonna straighten it as much as you can. That toe, look at my right toe, can either point down, it can roll kind of in the middle, so wherever it feels comfortable. What our goal is to get a little bit of a stretch here. We'll be able to lift our stomach and our chest up here. Let's bring both arms out to the side and look over your left fingertip. So we're in a warrior 2 here, but we're stable in that chair, so we're able to gain that benefit by tightening the core, turning our head towards that left hand. We're gonna hold it for 2 more breaths. Now, let's take our right arm. We're gonna let it rest on our right leg. Turn your left palm up. Reach that left hand towards the sky. So now I've got a stretch on the left side of my body. I might even lean back into it just a little bit and getting more of a stretch, or I can stay up. Our head, we might gaze up at those left fingertips, or we might stare a little bit closer to the elbow or the forearm. So find a comfortable position for the neck. Take your time, exhale, warrior two arms. Warrior two arms are here. Now taking that left arm, let's bring it to our left thigh. Turn your right palm up. Reach the right fingertips to the sky and maybe a little bit more of a bend here so you can see we're stretching on the right side body. So let's hold that for a couple breaths. Let's take our time, turn that right palm back down, bring it to the leg. Once our bodies are upright, we bend that right knee and walk that foot in. Heel and toe, get to the center of your chair. And then we're gonna scoot all the way so we can do the same thing on the left side. So left leg extends out, find the middle of your chair so that that right leg is in the center. A little bit of a stretch here, arms up, palms facing down, and then turn your head as if you're looking over that right fingertip. So right down the middle of that finger. If that's not comfortable for your neck, your head can stay here or it can stay facing the front. It doesn't have to turn, but if your neck allows for that, then let's turn that neck. Taking our time, warrior two, we're gonna reverse the warrior. Let that left arm come down, right palm up. Reach those fingertips straight up first and then decide if you're gonna lean towards the back just a little bit. Getting that stretch on the right side body. Let's come back to warrior two arms. That's where our hands are palms down and to our side angle. So right hand on that right knee, left palm up. Reach those fingertips up, straight up, and maybe we give a little side bend. Maybe we stay straight up. You decide as we hold and breathe. One more breath here. And let's turn that left hand, bring it down to the left leg. Let's walk that leg in, heel and toe, nice and slow. Ooh, it rhymes. Find the center of your chair. Make sure we feel nice and stable. Walk a little, waddle in those hips. And then let's extend, keep your left knee bent, and extend your right leg out, heel to the ground. We're just going to hinge at the hips, rest our left forearm on that left knee. We can keep our right hand there, or maybe we rest it somewhere here, getting a stretch on the back of that leg that we have extended. So I'm going to turn sideways while you guys are holding. Things to look for. So we are here. I want to make sure we're not hunching over. That's not how we want to go down. We want to hinge at the hips. Notice my back is flat. That's as far as I feel comfortable going, and then I can relax that tension in the lower back. So I don't have to keep it quite so rigid. All right, so coming up slowly, inch yourself up. All right, shake it out, rock a little from hip to hip. Take that left leg, extend that leg out. Toes are facing the sky. Same thing, we're gonna hinge at the hips, decide how low we wanna go. Once we get into that comfort level of a stretch on the back of that left leg, relax that lower back just a little bit. Notice how my shoulders relax a little bit, but I'm not hunching forward. I'm not forcing myself down. Let's give 2 more breaths here. And we walk ourselves up. Use those hands, walk yourself up. Bend that left knee, shake out those feet a little bit. And let's step wide with our feet. So about the distance of the legs of our chairs or right on the outside. Toes can be forward or at a slight angle, whatever feels right for the ankles and knees. And hands at our side. We're gonna do some seated sun salutation. So here's how it goes. We breathe in, we take that breath in, reach our arms up. As we exhale, hands come to heart center and then they rest on our thighs. We lean forward a little bit, relax the shoulders and the head, and then we reverse that motion. So to reverse, we use our arms to help push ourselves back up. And then the last thing we lift is the shoulders and the head. So that's a seated sun salutation. Let's do that again. Hands out, breathing in, reaching those arms up. As we exhale, prayer heads come down, pause at the heart, then rest on our thighs, leaning forward just a little bit, letting the shoulders and the head come down. and then reversing that motion, using your arms to help support you. Let's go one more time, just like that. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Hands on the thighs, leaning forward, letting our shoulders and head relax a little deeper, and then reversing that motion. Now, some of us are going to be able to take it a little bit deeper. Some of us might pause halfway up. So let's start just like we did. Inhale, reach up, exhale. Hands coming to the tops of those thighs. So let's give that little bend. Keep your head up, looking at me. Now, let's rest our elbows on those thighs and then relax into it. Decide, are you getting a stretch at all? If not, maybe one at a time. Those hands reach for the ground. Be mindful of the chair that you're in, because chairs can tip over and we don't want to fall on our face. So from here, maybe I flatten my hands and relax my head and shoulders. So I'm in a seated forward fold. If we've gone all the way down, let's slowly lift our head as we flatten our back, coming up on those fingertips first. Then right, left hand on the thighs as we use those arms to help lift us up. And let's walk those feet in. Good job, guys. So check in with the body. Make sure, how's your back feel, your neck, your shoulders, everything doing okay? Let's do a couple more stretches if you feel up to it. So starting with your right ankle, we're gonna take that right ankle and we have options. We're gonna cross it over the left knee. So this can be a little intense if you have really tight knees and hips. You might be here. As long as you can hold that position, okay, we're good. If that's just not available to you, your body doesn't move there, we cross that right ankle over the left ankle instead of the knee. But notice I still have that knee open as much as I can. So whichever version you're in, ankle cross or at the knee, we're gonna hinge at the hips, leave our hands on those thighs. You should feel the stretch more in the back of that right leg. Once we get, this is a seated pigeon. Once we find that seated pigeon, get that stretch, relax your shoulders, relax that lower back so we're not holding on to that tension. So I get a lot of questions of, well, I'm not feeling this stretch. So as I turn sideways, let me show you what might be happening. What normally happens is people lean forward like this. Notice my hips didn't really hinge, except they hinged backwards. So what instead, we're hinging forward. So that back is flat, leaning forward, and then I can relax in the spine. So if you weren't feeling the stretch, maybe come up and try to go down again. All right, let's give 2 more breaths. Take your time, use those arms, gently press yourself up. We're gonna release that right leg down, shake out hips, knees, feet, waddle a little from side to side. When you're ready, take that left ankle, cross it over that right knee. Again, if you can't cross over the knee because of hip and knee issues, cross it over the ankle. Otherwise, the position is the same. And then we hinge at the hips, coming down, back nice and flat. Use those legs and arms to help support some of that torso weight. Once I've reached my maximum stretch, I'm gonna relax into that. This is one of my favorite poses of all time. Chair or no chair, pigeon pose. Such a great hip opener, glute opener. If we can release those hamstrings and glutes a little bit, we can help release some of that low back pain. Let's give 2 more breaths here. And come on up. So both feet coming down. Let's march out those legs. We're almost there. Let's do a couple more movements before we call it a day. So I like to do toe raises while seated. It helps strengthen the ankles and the feet for those of us who don't feel comfortable doing toe raises on the ground. So how we do it, we lean on those thighs. So it looks like we're having a pretty chill conversation, just chatting it up. But what we're gonna do is we're going to come up on those toes, and I'm using my body weight, pushing down slightly on my thighs to make it a little more challenging, but not quite as challenging as if I'm standing up. Now, as we come up, we lift as high as we can. When we come down, see if you can pause right before your ankle touches the ground. That's gonna keep those calf muscles contracted versus resting in between. If your body says it needs the rest in between, then by all means give it the rest. Let's give 3 more right here, and then we're gonna change the position of our feet. All right, bring it all the way down. Now turn your toes out about 45 degrees, and we're gonna do the same thing. So completely different area of the muscles that we're working, but still lower legs, come up on those toes, set ourselves down, and try not to touch. Or if you do graze the mat, that's fine, just don't rest those feet unless you absolutely have to. So every time I teach this in class, I always laugh because it looks like we're just hanging out, having a conversation. And if you guys were here, I'd be asking you all kinds of questions. So feel free to give me some fun comments on what you were thinking of while we sit here and did toe raises. All right, let's bring it down. Now, turn your toes forward and then give me a slight pigeon toe. So we're gonna turn our toes in just a tiny, tiny bit and go into toe raises, pigeon toe. If that doesn't feel comfortable, by all means, please don't do it. Know the difference between what's a challenge and what's painful. We're not looking for pain. It is not no pain, no gain. If it's a challenge, that's great. If you feel your muscles working, that's great. If you're feeling sharp, stabbing pains, anything that just doesn't feel right, then that's not what we're looking for. That's not a benefit we're trying to work through. Let's give 2 more. Up and down. Perfect. Bring those ankles down. Let's go ahead, take our time, sit our bodies upright. Now scooch the back of the chair again, and we're gonna rest all the way back. Notice, how does the body feel? Is this the first movement you've had in a while? If you've been sitting, anxious, worrying, then it might feel like you just had a bit of a massage. Guys, I encourage you to get movement, whether it's 10 minutes a couple times a day, whether you get up, go outside. It happens to be a beautiful day right now. Get up, go outside, enjoy the fresh air, mess in the gardens, walk the dog, whatever you can do. I know that we're in a, not mandatory, but a requested lockdown, but lockdown doesn't mean you have to stay inside of your home unless you are the one who's sick. So get outside, get that fresh air. Sun is so important for our mental and physical well-being. Great, I'll see y'all next time. All right, thank you guys, bye.